All right, Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade here. Once again, tracking the tropics. We're going to start off yet again in the Pacific, the Central Pacific, because that's where we still have a lot of action going on. Yesterday around this time, we had a major hurricane churning out there. That was Hurricane Iona, a Category 3, about 24 hours ago. But now it's run into some cooler water, some stronger vertical wind shear kind of ripping it apart. Now it's down to a tropical storm. The storm behind it, Tropical Storm Kelly, has now opened up into a trough. So we're calling it the remnants of Kelly. So things have gotten a lot weaker out there with these systems in the Central Pacific. First, Tropical Storm Iona down to 65 mile-per-hour winds. Yesterday at this time, we had winds around 125 miles per hour. Good news with this one, it will continue weakening as it moves into the cooler waters of the Pacific, and it is moving fairly quickly away from the Hawaiian Islands. So no impacts from Iona. Right behind that one, yesterday we had Tropical Storm Kelly, now the remnants of Kelly, and that one will continue to fall apart just south of the Hawaiian Islands as well. So what do we have in the Eastern Pacific? Well, we've got a few more systems that we're monitoring. This was in the Eastern Pacific yesterday. Now it's moved into the Central Pacific. This is Invest 92C, another potential tropical depression, tropical storm that would likely move south of Hawaii. A medium chance for that one developing. And this one is more concerning because there's a high 90% chance for tropical development here, maybe a tropical depression, tropical storm or hurricane. And this one is a lot closer to Mexico and Central America. So we're going to have to monitor this one because there could be some potential impacts from heavy rain, flooding, those rough seas out there, rip currents, and also a lot of wind, depending on how close this gets to southwestern Mexico. So that would be the one that we would watch the closest. But it's just been super active here, and you can see over the next several days, we're just going to continue to have conditions prime in the Central and East Pacific for these tropical systems just to keep popping up and thriving. So they're moving away from the Gulf, thank goodness, but of course we'll continue to monitor it. Now, what's going on in the Atlantic Basin? Of course, that's the Atlantic, the Caribbean, the Gulf. Well, this is our Fox Weather tropical model going ahead in time. And notice there are some waves, some tropical waves coming off the west coast of Africa in the Eastern Pacific, in the Eastern Atlantic rather, but they're not going to likely develop into anything super strong. We are going to have the potential for maybe a tropical wave or two getting going for the Caribbean, for the Western Atlantic. But as we go through Sunday, you just don't really see a whole lot getting organized and looking impressive. So for now, we are keeping things quiet for the Atlantic Basin, according to the National Hurricane Center forecast. 7 days, so that is good news. So overall, for the first 2 months of our hurricane season for the Atlantic, it's been a fairly quiet start. We've only had 3 named storms, no hurricanes, no major hurricanes, and on an average year, we'd have 14 named storms. Out of those, 7 becoming hurricanes, and out of those, 3 becoming major hurricanes. So right now, we've had the A name, the B name, the C name, Andrea, Barry, and Chantal. We're still waiting for Dexter. Like I've been saying, day by day, don't let your guard down, because as we get into August, especially the 2nd and 3rd week of August, we're likely going to start to see more disturbances brewing, and some of them could potentially head towards the Gulf Coast. So make sure you're prepared no matter how quiet things get. Water temps are still very warm across the Gulf, the Western Atlantic, much of the Caribbean, so it's not going to take much if we get a tropical system going. It will likely stay fairly healthy, and it could start to increase in intensity. We've been fairly limited with our tropical development so far this season due to all of that thick Saharan dust, but models are indicating that some of this dust will start to become a little less widespread as we get closer to the middle of August, and of course that will allow these tropical systems more of an opportunity to pop up and mess with us. Maybe here in Houston, other parts of the Gulf Coast, maybe the east coast of the U.S., or maybe down towards some of the Caribbean islands. So we're going to be monitoring things closely for the next few months. We're about to jump into August, and hurricanes during the month of August are more likely to pass through the Western Atlantic and near the east coast. There's also a slight uptick in possible activity for the north central Gulf. Of course, in September, that's when things really start to get active and unsettled, typically for the Western Atlantic Atlantic and for a big chunk of the Gulf. That's probably going to be maybe our best shot this season. So we will be keeping a close eye on things. For now, we're staying quiet, but of course, that could always change. So keep checking here daily while it's quiet. Make sure you're reviewing your plan. If you have to evacuate, make sure you have the emergency gear that you need and your kit, and make sure you have the proper insurance so that you won't be caught off guard.